For the latest top tips, reviews and advice, please subscribe below.
Hello and welcome to Attwoolls Outdoors with me, Mike. Today I'm giving you a bit of a review video on a brand new driveway awning from Dometic. So over here today I've got the Club Deluxe Air Driveaway Awning. So it's a new model really for the 23 season going forward. It's very much similar in terms of its design to kind of a model that's already in the collection, which is the Club. This is obviously the Deluxe version. Now what this essentially is designed to do is almost give you double the amount of living space internally. For me, I definitely see this as probably more living orientated, probably than sleeping orientated, although it does have options as we're going to kind of discuss through this video. Now, it's worth mentioning obviously that probably everything about this is very premium. You know, from a price point of view, it's definitely not for those who are not wanting the ultimate amount, and you know, admittedly you spend an awful lot of money on the van and you can spend, you know, a considerable amount on the awning. This certainly probably tops the end of the budget of what you can look at or options you can go for, but arguably do get a lot of flexibility with it as well. So what we have here, like I said, is a very versatile, I want to say more almost like gazebo, probably the best way of putting it, like a gazebo that you can actually put onto the side. For me it looks almost like it's like a sort of like pagoda kind of outside kind of gazebos that you haven't seen like bars and restaurants. Works really nicely. Loads of windows to get plenty of light into. It's really light and airy on the inside. It's, like I said, it's definitely more orientated at living, but you've got flexibility. So all of the panels can completely remove, can literally become a gazebo. Connects directly onto your van. It's available in kind of one attachment height. So it goes from 180 to 210 with connection width around about sort of 260. So again, it's going to fit more than, like I said, the VW kind of market, that sort of transporters, these smaller vans rather than sort of midline or high line motorhomes, but again works really well. What Dometic have used is their kind of pro weather shield material, really nice thick material they use on all of their awnings, ideal for kind of sort of longevity, but also nice and sort of strong in the winds, and it's very much proven as one of those things, not broke, don't try and fix it. In terms of its design, it's very unique in the way it looks. Mainly because you've got sort of, it's completely inflatable for one, but it's these little brow canopies everywhere. So every single entrance pretty much, excuse me, has got a bit of rain safe canopy on the side. It really does make it quite striking on the campsites. It's quick and easy to pitch as well. You can see we've done a pitching video myself. I pitched the model, I think it was around about 14 minutes. I used a manual hand stirrup pump that comes supplied with the awning itself. But due to the kind of the air going up, down the other side, I would almost recommend going for the electric pump if you do buy the awning itself. Just because I think for me, it's better and easier to monitor the right pressure you put into it. Sort of 9 psi is the recommendation we're looking to pump it up to. The system's been tested beyond that, so a lot of people do go a little bit more beyond that. But for me, I think it just gives a bit more rigidity. And often when you're with the hand pump, you know, pumping and pumping, first you'll get the volume in, which there's quite a lot of volume to it, but after that you start to deteriorate, the pressure starts to increase, so you get more resistance. So press a button, set it to the PSI, it'll cut out when it gets that. So the Dometic Gale pump would be the one I would recommend to go with this quite nicely. So you've got a single inflation point which is located directly here, and then you've got 3 deflation points. So at the bottom of every side we have here, 1, 2, 3, gives you access points to deflate it. And again, you can see from our pitching video and packing video for that matter, how easy it really is to get back in the bag. We'll have a look on the inside and talk through a few more features on the air, but a few things I want to point out from the outside. One, we're looking at, we've got webbing straps located around the base fit, again give you a good amount of stability, and you've got a little tension point so you can get a bit more tension on it to get it taut. What you tend to find is it's fixed along the bottom, so it means you get your distance always away, and you can tension it as you go from there. Pegging ladders, so you can obviously, depends on the height, adjust it quite nice and neatly. Other things you can look at is, I would recommend highly to buy additional storm tunnel kits. They're not included with the awning itself, but you can buy them as a pair. So for this, you probably want 2 pairs, one to brace the front and then one to brace the back. Now, due to the nature of the design of it, it doesn't matter if you've got a UK van or a continental van or like a California where the sliding door is on the opposite side or both sides. Due to the nature of it, because it's, I won't say reversible, but it's symmetrical. It doesn't matter if you have it on this side of the van or the other side of the van, it's the same either way. And Dometic really tries to create that flexibility so it works on the continental market as well as the UK. All of the panels, like I said, can be actually removed. So what that's going to help to do is reduce the overall pack size down and the pack weight. So because obviously there's a lot of air tubes going on, bracer beams and panels, naturally, you know, it's not the smallest when it's packed away, I will say that. It comes in 2 bags, 1 bag for the main body and 1 bag for some of the side panels. So you're looking at a combined weight of 40 kilograms, 30 for one and 10 for the other. But when if you want to really strip it back, you can remove the side panels, the front panels, the back panels, and things like the pegs and that sort of thing as well. And you can get the main body weight down to a minimum of 24 kilograms. So you shave a few kilograms off that as well. And then you can, again, store that separately to make it a bit more manageable. Mainly when you're using this kind of awning, typically you're only ever going to have it in the way or in the van from the drive from where you're home to where you're camping. So it's only once you get the site, first thing you do is put the awning up so it's out of the way. So it's only during transport you have to worry about the overall size of it itself. Other things to mention is we've got these little tabs located here. So if you want to add inflatable windbreaks on, you've got a clip located so Dometic windbreaks work. And because it's nearly on every single point, you can again create your massive section out this side or out the back, out the front, depends. So again, it's all about flexibility. These 2 panels that we see located here can actually be zipped, and you can then exchange these panels and buy annexes. So Dometic's range of annexes, be it just a small sleeping annex or more like a conservatory if you wanted even more living room, or the Tornex, they're all compatible. So in theory, what you could do is have that as your main living area and then have an extra annex come off here and another one off this side. Now that is obviously going to increase the width away from the van a bit. So you're not going to probably, if you're on a excuse me, a regimented site, you probably won't get away with that generally, because the main body of the awning is, like I said, 260 wide, 420 long, plus the tunnel section about 90 centimeters, so 3.5, should we say, in its overall depth. Plus, adding an extra 2-meter annex, you're probably struggling really there. So it's going to be ones like farmers' fields, or certainly for France, they're a lot more generous over in kind of on the continent, really. Other things to mention is these 2 side panels that we see on this side have a full integrated mesh part to them. So you can actually have your PVC window, which we've got rolled up here, mesh located below so you have the airflow and shoes. So that way, when you're in there in the night time, lights on, you haven't got all the mosquitoes and midges or whatever coming directly in. So you've got that sort of safety net from that point. But then when the weather does turn, you can put your PVC blind down, and again, look something like that. High level ventilation points are throughout the awning to try and help the airflow. So in the 2 points up here, in the middle, in the corners again, we've got airflow as well. And a new little touch I do quite like is little Velcro tabs located on the outside. So if you wanted to have more outside seating area, you can use the Sabre lights and put them in not only internally, you can switch them externally if you want to chop and change it. The door itself, as we can see here on the 2 ends, can actually open up from right to left or left to right. So you can have it sort of halfway to give yourself a natural entrance in. It doesn't matter if you're going to put it sort of position here or position here, you can kind of do either or. What you can also do is create a little veranda as well. So you can actually kind of bring the zip pullers down. Oops, caught on the inside. Someone's not done this up properly. So you can create that, bring that down. In fact, we'll go inside and just get that sorted. And then you can always, nice and easily, kind of flop it over. What you can actually do is you can do this with not only these front panels here, but you can do it with the side panels. And the side panels actually got little inserts so you can put the veranda bars to create that initial flip. So again, really I see this side, either the front or the back, more kind of entrance orientated. So it means you can get your main sort of access to and from the van itself. And as we're going to do here, we'll open them up. Open it up and we'll use this as an entrance point. And again, if you really want to do, what you can also do is actually kind of bring them directly into the middle to one another. So you're going to just unpeg that. That then rolls back, and you've got toggle points located here. So again, you've got a more natural entrance, and again, there's no sort of lip in and out, so you haven't got any trip hazards coming in and out of the awning. In fact, kind of what we'll do now, let's kind of bring ourselves inside the awning and talk for a load more features that we've got on offer. So now we're inside the Club Deluxe. So what I've done is actually rolled our front door fully back, and you can see there's enough actually, don't have to remove the panel as such, you leave it to the side, so that way it's easily attached, you can just zip it up as and when you want to. I think now we've kind of got it more open, you can appreciate the sheer space in here, and like I said, being more kind of living orientated, I think really is shown in here. What we've got is a very kind of boxy design, so all of the walls are very much upright, so it does feel quite spacious, even though essentially it's only about a 260 wide, it feels a lot wider, just because everything is literally far out from yourself. Height-wise in here is really quite brilliant. You know, I'm about 6'2", and 6'2", 6'3". I can stand up pretty much dead centre in here. To be fair, even in the corners directly at the front is not too bad at all. And because of the sheer upright size, you know, I think it works really well, especially when you get into the centre, you can actually quite happily lift your arms open. So it works really, really well. Now, as mentioned on the outside, we've got a single inflation point. So basically the point comes in directly down here, comes up and then distributes itself through the little taps located here. So it feeds all the tubes as we go. The joys of this actually, each one has its own isolation point. So what you can actually do, in fact I'll show you, is just turn that off like so. And now what that actually means is this then tube is isolated from the rest of them. So God forbid it had an issue, you can actually just repair or replace that individual tube, or again just take it out, sort what the problem is, and isolate it quite nice and neatly. So it means that the whole awning is not necessarily affected from that point, but also means that you can identify where the issue is initially. So I would recommend putting it up, isolate everything off once it's physically up into pressure, and if you did, God forbid, have an issue, is then you know exactly where it is. And there might be something as simple as just needing reseating the valve, like a kind of a garden hose. Same kind of concept. It's very simplistic to do, and something that Dometic have done for numerous years. Other things to mention, the fact is what we've got here is a list of options you can look at to go with the awning itself. So not only can you buy the awning, there's obviously a bespoke made carpet to go in here, which is breathable to keep the councils happy. Mesh panels which will go on the front or the back, depending on what you want, and it's the same as their normal club model. You've also got the option of roof linings to help with condensation, because you generally will get quite a bit of condensation in here, just because of all the breathability coming up from the ground. And also you can have a look at storm straps, which I've previously mentioned, and annexes along the lines of that as well. So there's a few different options you can sort of pick and choose between it. Now, a few more points is, we've got obviously lots of windows here, but you want levels of privacy. So what they do is they provide you with these kind of traditional kind of caravan style curtains, like so, same what we see in most of their awnings to get that privacy when you wanted to. So you've got a little retainer butter clip located like so. So again, it keeps it all nice and tidy, and you can just pull the curtain across and get the full amount of privacy when you wanted to. And there's a little also retaining strap which you can tuck it behind, and that's just going to keep the curtain tight up to the panel to make sure you've got no gaps appearing down the side. Of course, when you don't necessarily want it, you can again just pop it out of it into its retainer clip. Very simple and easy to do, and even you've got the best fingers. But every single window you see here has that curtains included with it, so you know that works really quite nicely. Other thing is about lighting inside of here, so you can again make it more living orientated. Sabre lights work really quite nicely. I'd recommend the 150 ones that Dometic do, and they can pretty much, you can have up to, well, you can position them as you want to, so you can have it sort of centralized, move them across here. You can even take them across this width way here, have one externally. I would probably say one per panel would probably be sufficient, so one here, run off a single remote control, and if you wanted, you can always run a third on externally, so you've got it already and just kind of unplug it as you want to go with. Moving on to the van itself, we've got these two kind of symmetrical doors like we saw on the outside. Now, this allows you to kind of create almost a dead space depending on where you're looking. Now, the door itself can be opened sort of halfway, and like so, we can do left to right or right to left. I open it just halfway a little bit to create almost a bit of corridor down between the van. So ideal for storage, or alternatively what we're going to do is actually kind of sit that panel down just like that. So again, what you would necessarily do, depending if the van, its sliding doors on the driver's side or passenger side, you would probably remove the panel that equates with it. That way, when you open the physical door, like so, naturally you've got a straight corridor into the panel. Likewise, if it was going the opposite way, you're not then having this little kind of bottleneck. And again, you've got a really nice area of storage or whatever you want to do with it necessarily there. The tunnel section, I think actually, having pitched this, looks really sharp. I've not come across many that look as crisp as this does, and that's one thing I've certainly have probably been quite impressed with this particular model. In fact, let's pick the camera up now and kind of a bit more of a feel internally for it, so you can get a bit more of an idea about what the Club Deluxe is all about. So again, really nice and spacious. You've got basically a door access in the tunnel section, so you can access the van without going through the awning every single time. So that works really nicely. And you've got one both at the front and also at the back, so it doesn't matter which side of the van you are, you can quite easily get it. And again, it doesn't matter which side your sliding door is. As we're coming through, you can see the overall height in here and how sort of light and airy it does look. You've got a great sort of visibility directly around, so it doesn't matter where you are, you can really definitely enjoy the views. This panel here, not that you can probably see, it's just mesh only, and then with this one here, we've got basically the PVC blind in place. Little vents at the top, as I mentioned on the outside, so on the whole front panel, as we've probably called it, or side panel probably, you've got these extra vents, so you can open those and close those. I would personally always keep them open, just to help with the condensation. Skylight's going to help give you a bit more extra lighting, even when you want your privacy. And then the little toggles we've got located here are for the roof lining, and then also you can buy a bedroom to go sort of inside of here as well. But for me, I would probably go for an annex. Depends if you wanted to. It's obviously your pitch size more than anything, but that works really nicely. Extra kind of storage points located here, so we can use that for a hanging point if you wanted to, you know, have like a bar or a rail or something directly involved. So again, that works really quite nicely. And as we look into the van tunnel section, we've got a lot of adjustment straps here, so we can get that tunnel looking really nice and taut, pick it up so we can actually utilise this side door as we physically want to. Then we want to use it as an entrance. Voila, we've got a really lovely back entrance there we can look through, and then you've also got pre-punched limpet holes directly into it, so if you wanted to, you can actually get that sitting nice and tight against the van to minimise the draft. I mean, this section's really going to be kind of a sheltered area to and from the van anyway, so you're never going to get completely watertight. From an attachment point of view, you've got a couple of options. You can merely use the throw-over straps over the top of the van and guide it down the other side, or you go directly into the cater rail itself. For me, really the cater's really the best way because you get tension all the way through, but you can use it on a driveway kind of style if you really wanted to. But all I think it sits really nicely, looks really quite sharp, and just like I said, it's the sheer like gazebo-esque kind of look to it. It looks from this side almost like a traditional awning for a caravan, but you've got a dual pitch roof to give you extra height as well, so that I think also is a really nice bonus. For more questions and queries, feel free to check the link below this video. It'll take you through to where we've got all information on things like pack sizes, floor dimensions, individual features, and then obviously there's a lot kind of going on there itself. I think overall the Club Deluxe is a nice concept. It ticks a box, but I'm not sure what box it ticks. It offers something that's obviously definitely more living orientated, spacious, but then it's obviously from a cost point of view, it's not necessarily cheap. So it's definitely for those people who really want that desire of space at almost no context and wants to have their setup how they want a setup and not compromising on anything. So I think I do love the concept of it, and I think it's really good. I'm just not 100% certain on how functional or utilised it's going to be used in its way. I totally get everything they're trying to do here. It's just a question of, is there a place for it in the marketplace? That's probably the one query I personally have, but love everything about it. But just estimates of that, you know? So, like I said, any more questions, queries or concerns, feel free to check the link below this video or comment in the box below. We always love to hear from you guys, but that's kind of our video review on the brand new Dometic Deluxe Club Air Pro Driveway Awning. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully we shall see you again soon.